Which island? The Last Night. Part 1. Starry sky, full moon. The shore and the lake surface were illuminated by moonlight. A huge bonfire was burning in the guy's parking lot, illuminating the area from the water to the edge of the lake, like some kind of shrovetide. The guys were sitting in a semicircle around the fire so that they could see both the forest and the approaches from the shoreline. They were talking about the nightmare that had happened in recent days. There was a fresh, light breeze blowing, and all was quiet. Even the recent ghouls that had made everything shake around them seemed to have left the island for good, and nothing could disturb the silence of the island except the noise of the leaves of the lake forest, and the noise of the fire on the high shore. Time passed, and with it the clouds moved quietly across the sky, periodically obscuring the moonlight, and the fog began to pull up from the water side, covering the land like a carpet. Gradually the clouds thickened across the entire starry sky, blocking the access of moonlight to the ground for good, thereby plunging the entire island into darkness, except for the part of the shore where the fire was burning, and the cold fog was already quite close to our heroes, about 7 meters away from them. These phenomena were of course noticed by the guys. "Look, Roman, the fog is getting closer," said Max. "Yes, it can disturb us." "Did you guys see that?" Oksana exclaimed fearfully. "What is it?" Together they asked. "Look closely. There is something in the fog." The girl answered. There was something in the fog, too, as if it were a fauna with its own inhabitants. As if aliens were there, confirmed Max apprehensively. The fog was waist deep, so you could clearly see someone moving through it. Occasionally sharp tails like aliens flashed in it, and that's why Maxim drew such a conclusion about the Alien movie. "What creatures?" "They move in the fog," Roman said angrily, hearing a rather familiar laughter. Gradually the fog began to come up and out of the forest, surrounding the guys in a ring, with it and increased the giggling of these small creatures. It came as a surprise to the defenders. "Surrounding, bitches," said Max. "What shall we do?" Oksana asked. "The hell does he know? Fight back? We are unlikely to succeed, and we do not want to give up," said Roman. And the fog had almost surrounded the boys. It was very close, continuing to move, closing the gap in which the company was. The laughter was already very close, and it was visible how hundreds of green lights were walking around inside that cold vapor. One of these little monsters tried to grab one of the guys, but Roman sharply grabbed a burning stick and slammed it into the thing, causing it to run away with a squeal into the depths of its hiding place. After the fog had enveloped the island, the creatures began active operations against the guys, first trying to destroy the only focus of their protection, the fire, throwing it with improvised objects, rocks, sand, and turf. At the same time, the heroes were not confused, grabbed the burning sticks and began to drive away the evil. There was no more fear, rather there was anger at these vile creatures. In a moment the fire was completely destroyed, and the boys were left without their only protection. Everything immediately quieted down, but it was obvious that the little freaks were playing with them as if they were toys. "Shut up," said Maxim in a whisper. "Yes, they're teasing," Roman agreed. "Who shall we kill first?" He. Oksana. "No, Max. Roma. No, Oksana. You what? Oksana for dessert. He 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 he. The guys heard these creatures talking. Their nasty little voices sent shivers down their spines. It's decided. Maxim. He 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 he. Maxim. Yum yum. These words made Max seriously creepy, because he knew that he was about to die. After this phrase, the laughter began to get closer and louder. One of the creatures jumped out of the thick mist right at Max and clawed at him, trying to dig into his throat. What are you doing? Don't kill me, I have to mute. He 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 he. Voices began to come out. Roman, without thinking twice, walked up to Maxim and with all his might struck the attacking creature with the stick, which had burned recently, but had now gone out, but it was still a weapon and could seriously cripple his enemy. Serves you right, bitch. Oksana commented on Roman's actions. Bitch yourself. We'll eat you. You'll die slowly. He 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 he. Roman took out his air gun and started shooting at the places where he saw green lights. It bore fruit. There was a screeching sound, which forced the creatures to retreat for a while. When it died down, a strong wind began to blow, sweeping away the fog, but somehow leaving the clouds in the sky motionless. When the wind died down, the boys found themselves in a darkness in which the outlines of the area were more or less visible, complemented by the silhouettes of these little monsters. Then there was a roaring sound, as if 100 furious beasts were preparing to attack, and the red lights of the angry eyes lit up sharply, making the hearts of the three comrades in distress beat with such force that it felt as if the heartbeat would penetrate the chests of the boys.